Spug TV!
Spug TV.
Welcome to part 4 of the quest for a Cambridgeshire 40. We're down at Magic Monks and it's about 20th of June or something, and the world's gone mad since the last video. Just recapping, we'd changed our tactics. We'd got to a couple of 30s in January, 34 and 38. It was all going well, happy days, and came back for a couple of sessions after that, blanked, caught nothing, didn't even feel I was on them. Came down mid-March, I'd got 2 or 3 days to fish, and we've got the virus. The world's got the virus. COVID-19, what an extraordinary thing to happen. I thought 9/11 was big. This was the biggest thing that's happened in my life. Unbelievable, the world just stopped. And we got locked down, we couldn't leave the house, there's been tears, there's been upset, there's been financial issues. Hasn't been great, if I'm honest, but there you go, it's life. So, we got locked down. Boris said we've all got to go home. I'd done 2 nights of a 3-night session, I went home early. Lake was locked down, we reopened again in, I don't know, early June, whatever it was, when they said we could go fishing again. Came down, couldn't wait to get here. I'd had enough of sitting at home, walking around the local park, reading, playing Sonic the Hedgehog, whatever. I was starting to go, I could feel myself going. Fishing started again. Come down, happy days. First night in the gate, had a barbecue, a celebratory barbecue, happy to be here. Moved into the point, little point. Next night had a 10-pounder on a PVA bag. I'm using the same tactics. Caught fish, happy days. And they started spawning, so the lake was shut again for another few weeks. That's not a criticism, but come on fish, give us a break, we want to go fishing. So I came down as soon as I could, I think it's 2nd or 3rd week, whatever it was. Andy Dalton had fished doubles, I went in after him. I had a particular strategy of just keeping light on the bait. He'd had a bite at 22.5 wraps, and I fished one at 21.5. I put one right on this spot. I also sat there, I spoke to Rob Inkins. I said, mate, we don't fish the margins enough in this lake, we're all out in the middle, I'm going to put one in the edge. And he said, oh, there's a good spot about 12 foot to your right in there. So out went the boat, found it with the sonar, 12 foot, dropped it. Had a lovely evening, had a bottle of wine, had a barbecue. I was so happy to be back here, thinking, come on, let's have this big one. Anyway, 3 o'clock in the morning, right hand rod, or the margin rod, rips off. A spirited performance, it has to be said. Got stuck in the weed twice or 3 times in front of me, managed to bank it. 33-pounder, pulled it out of the weed, give me a lot of confidence in the quarter curve hooks, because I put them under some proper pressure, and it was like, okay, I'll take that. Got it in the net, spawned out 33, got it on the video, and I'll show you that now.
Yeah, spot on, mate.
Right, good morning world, my video is on. What's your name, Geese?
James.
I know you've had a baby, but I don't know what your name is.
James.
James has come around to give us a hand. A 33-pounder. Happy days. Don't over worry about it.
No.
As long as we get a shot of it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Might just zoom in a tad. That's it.
Yeah? Then we'll spin it.
Yeah.
A lovely barbecue earlier. Sorry to my little film, I didn't record you. I was just having a nice time, not looking at the news and coronavirusing. So there we go. It's been very obliging. £33. One more that'll do, mate.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Right. So, 33 pounder, happy days. Number 83 on the UK 30s list, getting closer to that magical 100. And just took a couple of photos, put it back, went back to bed. The next morning, about 7 o'clock, middle rod on the 22.5 wrap spot, which is exactly the same spot Andy caught a fish from, which I believe is 32 fully scaled. That tightened up, started ticking off, so I whacked it. It was all a bit weird. I hit it, there was nothing, it felt like a tench, then there was one on, then there wasn't one on, and then it fell off. And I'm thinking, might be a trailer, might be this, might be that, who knows? But it wasn't a fish, it didn't go in the net. So I reeled it in, had a cup of coffee, and I put it out again. Cell cork dust wafter, which I checked was critically balanced. PVA bag with the hemp seed oil in and all that stuff, some handful of pellets. Dropped it out again, 22.5 wraps, just right at Wobblies opposite me. Dropped it, no problem, went out perfect. Fished today, nothing really happened. Okay, no problem. Got to the evening and I thought, should I redo that rod? I'm like, well, what's the point? It went out perfect. Just leave it. So I thought, fair enough, I'll leave it. So, tinned curry that night, bottle of wine or whatever it was, vodka and soda water, crashed out to sleep, all good. Woke up the next morning, everything was quiet, didn't get my margin bite, not a problem. Sitting there I thought, well, do you know what, I've had a 33, that'll do, I don't think I'm going to get another one. Then all of a sudden, the middle rod, which was a 22.5 wrap spot, just tightened up a bit, slackened off a bit, tightened up a bit. It didn't take any line, just a bobbing up, tight, slackened off a bit, up, tight. I thought, do you know what, I'm going to hit you. So I whacked it, and then there's something on the end. And I'm thinking, alright, is that a trailer? Is that a trailer? So what we had yesterday, it was all a bit of a weird take. Didn't take a centimetre of line off the reel. Fish felt slow and heavy the whole time as I played it. I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, this might be half sensible, this one. Now, the 33 I'd caught the night before, I got stuck in the weed a couple of 3 times before I got it out. And I'm thinking, if this is a Chunkosaurus Rex, I don't want it getting stuck in a marginal weed. So I started lifting the rod up real high, pumping hard, pumping hard. Rod was on full test curve, it felt heavy. And then just before the marginal weed, this fish popped up. It was huge, absolutely huge. And I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be a 40. It has to be a 40. And I pulled it back, crossed the top of the marginal weed. It's gone in the net, first time of asking. I've looked in the net. It's a Chunkosaurus Rex, and I've lost it. Get in there, get in there. I can't even remember what I said, but there must have been some swear words and all the rest of it. And I'm looking in the net and it's massive. And it's like, here we go, that has to be the 40 we're looking for. I was like, has to be it, has to be it. Funnily enough, Jordan Pashley, bless him, I walked past him the day before, I didn't recognise him. He actually looks like Shaggy off Scooby-Doo at the moment. He was just about to get in his car and leave, and he heard the commotion. It's not a smallmouth, it makes a lot of noise. He's heard the commotion and he's come back and he's looked in there, oh mate. And we've all looked at it, it's like, it's got to be the 40 you're looking for. It's like, I hope so. Anyway, cut a long story short. We popped it on the scales, it's 42.8. I don't know what these fish are, other than black spot, because it's got a black spot on its side. I don't know what these fish are, and it turns out it's a fish called Charlie's Mate, which is somewhat ironic because I caught a fish called Charlie at £42 from Frimley years ago. Anyway, it's Charlie's Mate, it's 42.5 pounds. We've got the Cambridgeshire 40 that we're looking for. Here it is.
Yeah, it's always catching for a 30. I'm not even having a 30, so I'm fucking up a 30.
I didn't think that was going to happen this morning.
5 or 6 29.
Are you all good, mate?
So a 30 pound.
the handle.
Yeah.
And they'll show fish stands in the car park and move down there.
Yeah.
And then they're black got a 42. It's mad the way it goes. In France last year, I finished about 5,000 times. And it's low 50s and then had 2 50s in the same morning.
And I think you could do it with 24, 40,
What a fish.
I was in Fingy, yeah. I was in
Yeah, that's a proper, that's a
25.
my little friends. Whoa.
45.
We're going to do this gently.
After completely different black.
Yeah, it's still fat that.
Before this session, it's good right, isn't it?
Right, who wants to do that then? What you see is what you get on the viewfinder.
I can take the photos.
Okay, yeah, good. Right then, so with fins in. Feel free, crack on.
Well, you shouldn't be allowed to look at this one.
Okay.
Right. Right, you oyster up.
Right.
Borderline.
42. 42 and a half.
42 and a half.
That'll do?
Yeah.
It is what it is. I really don't want to lift this too many times, so get in here. Get right in closely. Right, so 42 and a half. The Cambridgeshire 40 that I've so longed for. It's finally come in. Happy days. Happy days.
If it said upper
Charles,
Spug?
mate, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Happy days. Right, I'll spin that.
So I've only got 2, mate.
Right, get a third
Can't
then.
get another one.
Really don't want it out of the water very long. I'll do, and I'll spin it.
Yeah, it is. I think it is Charlie.
Yeah,
With
it's
the down that
Charlie.
tail.
Yeah.
Tell you what, since I changed my tactics, every other one's 30 plus.
Good.
So it just goes to
And the
show
big fish
how
tactics now.
I told you, didn't I?
Yeah, but
I
I
need to
caught,
use your tactics.
I caught a 37 last night on a pop up.
I know. But I'm just giving it for the video. Isn't it? Here it is. Right, ready?
Go on, you can do it.
I'll do.
No, big smiles.
Halfway down.
Big smiles.
That's it, I'll do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do. Let's get it back. Jordan done a sterling job on a camera. We only got 5 pics of it with the proper camera. 3 one way, 2 the other. It had obviously spawned out. Apparently it was last out 48 or something. I wasn't unhappy that it was 42 and a half. I'll tell you, it's a corking fish. Apparently one of the better looking ones in here. But obviously I don't care about being better looking. I just care about a bit of integrity and being humble. That's what floats my boat. But I'm really chuffed I caught it. Happy that it was 42 and a half. It's a Cambridgeshire 40. That's now 7 English 40s, 6 different lakes from 4 different counties, and that's the fish I was looking for. So the statistics are that it was 133 nights I'd done for that fish from 2009, 2010, 17, 18, 19 and now 20. A lot of people get them within the first few days. I didn't. How's your luck? But this has actually been a wonderful learning curve for me, and it's dragged me up to modern day fishing, because I am a dinosaur and I've been fishing mono hook links and all that bollocks, and I needed to up my game. Got on the PVA bags watching Lawrence East and all the rest of them. He just whacked it. In fact, he whacked it so much he's buggered off. He's gone on to other things and greater things after about 2 months of this year's fishing. That tells you everything you need to know. So I've caught up with modern day tactics. I've got onto braided rigs, PVA bags, all the rest of it, and it's been a wonderful learning curve, and I'm really grateful, thank you God, that the one that I was looking for, that Cambridgeshire 40, happened to be Charlie's mate. It's a stunning fish, especially for a Simo, which people poo-poo. Well, if you poo-poo them, whatever, it's carp fishing, isn't it? Whatever you catch, someone will tell you it's shit. Well, most people have told me what a cracking fish that was, and yeah, I'm well happy about it. So we've got the thing, like I said, 133 nights, and interestingly, since I came back from Thailand, I've had, that's now 30 fish. I made the changes in November, if you watch the previous videos, and since I rang the changes and realised I was fishing it wrong, then I've had 7 fish throughout December, January and whatever. Of them 7 fish, bearing in mind the first 23, the biggest one was 28 pound. The last 7 fish doubled, a couple of doubles, a 20, a 33, a 34, a 38 and a 42. So over half of them have been 30 pounders. So as far as I'm concerned, being big enough to go, I'm fishing this like a div. I need to change what I'm doing because I'm fishing it wrong. It's worked. So I'm happy, and I've learnt a load. I've caught a big one. Raise the Jolly Roger. Raise the Jolly Roger, for the big one has been landed. Okay, so the 3 PVA bags are ready to go. We're here again. Bit of a windy old day today. Anyway, like I said, the 3 PVA bags ready to go, and they consist of, this is the technical section, that's fish marine ground bait. That goes in the bottom of the bag, and then I put some hemp seed oil on it, Raidline hemp seed oil. Then I crush up either cell or link boilies in the old crusher thing. They call that's it, that, you know, crusher thing. Put them in, and then I'll put either a little bit of, like you see here, the yellow is essential cell stick mix, or this red one is the link. Put a bit of that in with some pellet and the crushed boilies. Fills it out to the top like that. A nice old bag there, loads of hemp seed oil and stuff going on, little drop of El Smarto liquid in the top, mustard there for steak later, and then tie them up, hook the hook in the tail, stick them out in twidget, drop them on the spot. Lovely. And what I do also is I put a bit of pellet in 10 boilies, say, in the boat. So, you know, we're going really light on the bait, and I'll just pierce the air out of them just before I send it out so they sink quicker. But oh, that one's going off, look. Happy days. Oh yeah, so now that I'm a rig guru, I even got one of these things that you make rigs and you put them in. And look, I done 9 yesterday. The curves on. These are my open water rigs. 25 pound. Got the curves, lovely and sharp out of the packet they are. Perfect. And like I said, if I'm not in the weed or whatever and I'm in the open water, I'm liking that. We've got the old cork dust wafters on as hook baits, so lovely. I am a rig guru. It's just after 9 o'clock on Sunday the 28th of June. Rods are back out on the spots, same sort of spots as when we had our little bit of success recently. It's been a blowy old day, that's for sure, but just now having a bit of a drop of Tempranillo or whatever they call it, and there's a nice little steak on the go there. So we haven't caught fish, but it's a good day for British angling anyway. Plenty of mustard on the plate, and we'll see how the old session pans out. You never know, might catch one, might not. Right, good morning Derek, how are you?
Spug TV!
Yes, we're here and we've caught one. This is live camera action.
Spug TV!
He's a very common fish. Right, we'll video him.
Yeah, that incorrect password.
Right. You're an emergency call. It's yours, you div. How are you getting on with that, Derek? Does my password not work on your fucking phone?
Okay.
Alright, turn it round that way. Here's the camera up.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just trying to find your camera.
It's on the front page.
It's alright, I got it.
Right, okay, here we go.
Don't panic, miss. Do you want me to
Derek's just trying to open the password, my password on his phone, and can't work why it won't open to take a picture. Well, it's a nice fish. It probably was £20 before they spawned, but now it's 18. But it doesn't matter. It's a lovely fish, and he don't know he's not a 50-pounder.
Yes.
So there we go. Don't want none of that.
It's ugly. Right.
Get in there. We're going to want to be there, otherwise the photos are shit.
It's alright. You're going to thank me, are you?
Oh, that'll be a first.
At least doing this, I don't want to get in his way.
Go on, Del. That'll do, Jack. Just a couple with a flash. Yeah, that'll do. Right, £18 blank saver. And that's it. Okay, I haven't really had a chance to do a quick chat to camera. It's all been chaos. So we've got the big one, we've got what we was looking for. We've got 9 months left of this year. We've got 20 minutes on this film now, roughly, and we might as well carry on, just see how it all ends up. See if we've had that little one today, another bite. That's good. The big ones come from where the small ones come from. So what we've got to do now is just continue doing what we're doing and try and catch as many as we can before the end of the season, and then we're off to pastures new and local fisheries. It'd be nice to fish in Norfolk for a month or two, year or two, whatever. We've got a story to tell you. Right, so we're going to start on Barbara Lakes next year after I finish on Monks. Been on Monks a few years now, don't want to catch them all, just wanted that one 40-pounder, we got that. So I want to fish closer to home, blah blah blah. So I've joined Barbara Lakes. It's 11 miles from home. There is the odd 40 knocking about in here, and some lovely big tench and some fully scales and some dark commons and all the good stuff. So perfect. Cheaper ticket, closer to home, everything's there. And it's Norfolk, obviously, which is the finest county in England. So we made a start about 3 weeks ago. Me and Adrian came down. He had a £6 tench out, which was good angling, and I caught nothing. We scoped the lake out a bit. We fished Lodge Lake, the one that this 3 scales is in, this sort of 43-pound fish I've heard about. Nice looking fish. Nathan from Angling Direct sent me some pictures of him holding it. I thought I'd like to hold that one day. So, you know, it's in Lodge Lake, there's Barbara Lake, there's Coney Lake and some smaller lakes here. It's quite a big complex. So I made a start on Lodge Lake and blanked. Anyway, it's quite weedy, and I thought we're going to have to tackle this a bit and get on some sort of helicopter rigs, get the rigs on top of the weed. And so I went out and got some. And then I thought with it being weedy, I'm going to need to drop the lead, so I got the heli safe things. Said to the boys in the shop, are these going to clip onto the ready-made ones I've got? They're like, yeah, no problem. So I bought them, come down here prepared to go have a go this week, and it's like I've got everything I need to tackle the weed. I've got all the rigs, blah 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 blah. So I've come down, and I was going to initially fish a swim they call 40'S Point, and that'll be Madonna. Well, actually, no, I hope it isn't actually. Can we rewind to the 80s and it'd be Pamela Anderson? That'd be much better. So anyway, I was going to go at 40'S Point, but it's quite a long push. I couldn't be asked to push my barra. And I've ended up back in the same swim, or the same swims that me and Adrian were in. He was in one called the Runway, I was in one called Glenn's. And I'd fished a rod 15 yards out when we were here before, and I put quite a lot of bait on it, thinking bait in the edge, bigger likes that apparently, from the homework that I'd done. Anyway, so I got here, I couldn't be asked to push the barrow that far because obviously I'm not an athlete like Usain, whatever it is, Fred Bolt, whatever it is. So I've come in here and I've gone to go into Adrian's. It's really weedy in front of it. I didn't have a weed rake for the margin, and I thought, oh, I'll just go back into Glenn's, because you know your spots, they're all in close, the tench coming close. You're going to put a yellow peppered peach wafter on, there's 10-pound tench in here, I'd like one of them. Although I'd rather catch it on lighter gear if I'm honest, so I do need to get some reels sorted out for my float rods that I've got. So anyway, I've come in here, I've gone back onto the same spots, and I've decided to put 2 out a bit further this time and still have the one in close. So I'm going to fish 2 with the drop-off lead systems that we use on monks, and I was going to get this helicopter rig on and have a little play about with it. I didn't really use one before. So during the week I watched the Thinking Tackle, where they put the bead up the thing and then they put the boom on with the pop-up and they chuck it in the weed and it sits on top, and I thought, yeah, that'll do. I understand how that works. I've always cast in the weed, you know, and got them off the bottom on bottom baits, but I can see the sense in sitting on top of the weed, you know, especially here where it's quite thick in the margins, and if this fish comes in close, that might be an advantage. So I've got the rig out, and the heli safe thing won't go on it, so I can't use it. I can only clip a lead on unless I pull the clip off and have to splice it, which quite frankly I've never done in my life and I wouldn't want to try it. So I thought, all right, well look, I'll put the clipper lead on and just fish it reasonably close, and use like I think it's a Fox distance marker lead, or distance lead, and the weed will go over it easy rather than get stuck. No point fishing out a long way if you can't drop your lead and you're going to have fish stuck. So did it the first day, flicked them out to the left, and I put my other one just 15 yards out. That was on a drop-off lead, and you can feel the lead donk on that. You feel it sort of tap through the weed and dunk, like, lovely, that's fishing. Put that on there. Did my first night, which is night number 3 on here altogether. I had quite a big liner on the single stick rod, which I'll show you in a second. That's what I'm calling my single stick rod. The other 2 are down there, looking out to the island. So it's big old expanse of water, goes right down there, right up there. So fair old chunk of water. So we had one in close, and those 2, they were sort of 30-40 yards out. But I say the helicopter rig was on one of them, and I know there's not a massive amount of weed between here and there, but I thought, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. I'll fish that in close on the single stick rod, as I call it, and that's literally 15 yards out, and a bit of weed out there, but not mega thick. You can just get through it. So I reeled it in. The helicopter rig goes on that, and like I said, I did a bit of research into the lake, and I spoke to, like I say, Bumpy from Angling Direct. I hope that's a nice name. He calls himself that on Instagram, Nathan. He had 23 fish out of here in like a few months. I mean, that's unreal. I'll never be catching that, don't get me wrong. But one thing he did say was, have you got pink baits on? I'm like, no, I haven't. I've got like a red one, a blue one. I've got a peppered peach that we had the Layfields 40 on and all the rest of it. And he said, oh mate, they love pink in there. I'm like, okay. So I changed all three to pink. If there's one thing that the whole Monks experience has taught me, is that you've got to get on it. You know, you got to, every lake's got a crack. I knew that before. I've been there before, but I thought I'm getting on this straight away. I'm not going to try and do my own thing. If they like pink baits, they can have them all day long. Anyway, and I said to him, funny enough, what about the freebies? He went, no, just pink hook baits. I said, righto. So I changed them all to pink hook baits, and I thought, well, I'll try this thing I saw on the telly, on the thinking tackle, pull the bead up, and then put a blob of foam. Well, I always put foam on the hooks when I'm fishing anywhere near weed, so it'll sit on the top, boom, and it'll come down and lay on top of the weed. So I flicked it out. That was out. Those two, I found the bar eventually, like 3 days after I should have done. I found the bar, got two baits on the bar, with a bit of bait over them. I thought, right, that's fishing done. You know, it's actually see what happens. Didn't really pay too much attention to the single stick rod, if I'm honest. It went out, and like I said, I put the bead up. I thought, well, that'll settle on top of that. So we're out, we're running. We've got good advice. We found out that and I'd put, like I say, a load of bait out there, and we found out the big one likes to come out over baited areas, you know, close in. It's got a massive history of it. So I thought, well, I am actually, you know, fishing for that fish. Obviously, in this amount of water, and there's like 200 yards of bank space without swims in. Just hoped and prayed that one day I'm going to get lucky with it. You just keep coming and don't give up. You know, never give up. That's the saying, isn't it? So anyway, this is what happened on, I can't hear Sunday. This is now the story of what happened Monday afternoon. It's quite good. Right, so there's a single stick rod, as we're talking about. Fished literally just 15 yards out after the marginal weed, goes down a bit, and then weed starts again. Right, so there's a coot's nest there. I don't know where they are at the moment. I think they've got the Mackie D's. They've got some little ones. Oh, they're over there. They're generally messing about. So I heard the coot stamping on the water. I've seen them do it on Conningbrook. Bit of acting now coming up. So you see them go with their feet, and he was doing it just below the surface. And I stood there and looked for about, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever, see if maybe there's a carp or a pike had spooked him, but I didn't see anything. Right, so anyway, about 6 o'clock that night, I was just standing there watching. I saw sort of carp shape coming along here, about sort of 15-20 yards out, just coming around the corner of the bay. I looked at it and I thought, oh, it looks like a mid-20 or something. And it got about 6 foot away from where my hookbait's sitting on top of the weed. It's just gone down, straight away. And I thought to myself, flipping heck, that's going to be clutch. And before I even finished thinking the sentence, beep, 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 it's a funny take. Well, of course, it's a helicopter rig halfway up the lead core, isn't it? It's a beep, 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 beep. So I started playing it, and it's like, it's gone real heavy and stuck straight away. And I'm thinking, oh well, it can't have been that fish. It must have been a tench grabbed it or something. It just went too quickly for that fish to have grabbed it. So I think I've got a tench on, and there's an old boy next door. He goes, "Hey, you got one on, boy?" And I said, "Yeah, I have, mate. I think it's a tench." So I then had to walk to the other side of the swim to try and give it some side pressure. It didn't really even take any line. So I've gone to this side of the swim, playing it like that, rod's bent over, slowly pulling it, breaking strands of weed, moving slowly, and then all of a sudden it's coming towards me. It's really heavy. I think there's a big ball of weed, but there isn't. It's a small ball of weed and a carp's head. And I think, oh, it is a carp. Then he got a bit closer to there. I see it was two-tone. I'm thinking, it was a two-tone mirror. I think, it can't be the big one. It can't be the big one. Then it come head onto me and it came in across the back, you know, proper. It was the big one. Oh no, I said to the old boy, fucking hell, it's the big one, it's the big one, it's the big one. Internet, first time of asking. I've opened up and there he is. 3 scales.
fucking hard to get a picture.
He's got plenty of life, he's alright.
Yeah.
There we go. Get snapping, mate. Get in there. 3 scales. 2 now, probably knock one off. They're all framed up nicely, geese?
Yeah.
Yes!
You got goose on there, buddy.
They'll be fine, I'm sure.
Get your hand up loud to him.
Yeah, I'll do the other side. Right.
He's a big lump.
Do you want to do that one again? 44 pounds, I cannot believe it.
Such superb effort, buddy. Superb.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
There he is. 3 scales.
One more, hang on.
Right, he's going back because we don't want to mess him about.
Yeah, go on, stick his back.
I live in a whistle-stop town where everyone thinks I'm a clown because I like to hear the train whistles blow.
So, I can't believe it. It's luck. I was a great deal of luck, but the circumstances. If I'd have gone in the other swim or the other swim, if I hadn't changed my helicopter rig over, if I'd have had heady drop-offs, I wouldn't have had the helicopter rig there. I wouldn't have had the bait on top. I wouldn't have had a pink thing unless Nathan told me. So Nathan is very instrumental in this capture, and it's like I just can't believe it. It's the big one, 44 pounds, 3 scales. And thank you and good night. So there you go. Raise the Jolly Roger. Raise the Jolly Roger.
Thank you all. The sky, the blizzard goes up, but still they must slay. No one should go.
I need to say his spray. That a great big carp will fucking come my way. All I do is say